I've been teaching people to fly since 1973, and I'll tell you, this is an amazing experience to me because I've taught men and women to fly, boys, girls, big people, small people. It doesn't matter. I've taught so many different people to fly, hundreds of them, and this is what I learned, folks. After all those years and basically 10,000 hours of just teaching people how to fly, this is what I've learned. It's one of the most powerful lessons that I have ever learned, and that is, in aviation, all the people that I've experienced, I have never met one person who wanted a job in aviation that didn't get one. That is a statement of fact. I have never met one person in aviation who wanted a job in aviation that didn't get one. But there is a caveat to that. They did have, each and every one of them, they did have one character trait that absolutely was essential in their getting the job. In fact, this is so powerful, I'm going to use a behavioral science intervention technique in order to be able to reinforce this one very valuable point. I want everybody to take their finger and go like this. No, really, do this. If you see somebody not doing this, I want you to raise your hand and point to them. Exactly. No, with the other hand. The other hand. Take your finger, put it right there, stick it in the air. Excellent, so nice. You're actually doing it. Normally I have to beg people to do that, but no, put it right there. Because what I'm about to say is so important, I don't want it to go in one ear and out the other. Every single person I have ever met that wanted a job in aviation, that got a job in aviation, had this one quality, and that was tenacity. In other words, they were willing to pick themselves up after they got shot down, after they failed, and you will fail, just as Maria said, you will fail. That's all part of the trial and error process of learning. But one's character is, I think, identified by what one does after one fails. You either pick yourself up and continue on, or you give up. Every single person who wanted a job in aviation that had the character trait of tenacity, willingness just to stick to it, always got a job. Now, I have to be realistic here. It wasn't necessarily the first job that or the final job that they wanted. They may have wanted to fly a Boeing 777, but maybe they got a job flying a Cessna 150 freighter that served 7 and 7. You don't always get the first job that you want. And if you listen to Maria talk, you realize that the job you want leads into other jobs that leads into other jobs, because that's how we collect, connect, and convey. That is power.
The beauty of the Release 9 system architecture is that you have two fully redundant integrated flight displays. Each has access to all the systems and data. Providing full redundancy and eliminating traditional reversionary modes, Release 9 allows either display to be configured as the PFD. Now your failure modes are much more manageable because you can continue to fly with the same familiar display symbology without the need to relearn composite modes you don't typically fly with. Avidyne's Integra Release 9 is truly the next generation in fully integrated flight deck technology.
But let me tell you what one of the greatest enemies is of tenacity, and that is a lack of confidence. One of the biggest things I hear from people, and my background's in psychology, I studied psychology for many years, and I didn't want to work with people that had abnormal personalities, so I got into aviation. I thought, exactly, I know. Did it really matter? But the thing that's fascinating is one of the things that is the ultimate detriment, the greatest detriment to tenacity. One of the things you really have to fight against is this idea of confidence, because some people say, Rod, I'm not confident. I don't have the confidence to let's say, do this or do that. And I've heard this on many different levels. I was out at the airport one time at Long Beach Airport, and I actually heard this. A flight instructor keyed the microphone. He's getting ready to solo a student. He keys the microphone and goes, Long Beach Tower, this is 213 Bravo. I have a student here ready to solo. And in the background, I hear, no! I'm not ready yet. Yes, you're ready. You're ready when I say you're ready. Poor kid didn't want to solo. His instructor was going to force him to solo. The point is there, that confidence comes from experience. How do you get experience? there's absolutely no other way to get it than to get your hands dirty. You got to get out, you got to try things. You got to do things. And Maria was a great example. She tried it, she did it, she went beyond her comfort zone, and that is testament to exactly what I'm telling you there. One has to be willing to fail, folks. Listen, I had a student once, Barbara, and Barbara came from another instructor. I wasn't sure how much she knew about stalls, so we took a Cessna 150 freighter. We went up and we flew, and we went out the practice area, and we did a stall. This old airplane, you pulled the control stick back, and it would just sit and mush. It wouldn't do a clean break. And of course, in the airplane, the controls are very ineffectual at that very slow speed. So we're stalling like that, the stall horn's blaring, and her controls are completely ineffective. She has never seen this before, but she innovated. Folks, she released her controls, reached over, and grabbed my control. Thinking that somehow or another I disconnected her controls because that's the kind of instructor I am.
Welcome to the Aero News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource. Real-time 24/7 online audio and video programming, where aviation has been getting updated for over a decade. Distributing over 11,000 stories, features, audio, and video programs every year. Only ANN covers aviation and aerospace with this much depth, insight, and expertise. Check us out on the web at aero-news.net.
If you have the ability to pick yourself up and realize that tenacity is the natural saboteur of tenacity is this feeling that I'm just not confident. Folks, nobody's confident all the time. Sometimes you just make mistakes even if you are a pro. I love it. John Wayne Airport, 727 pulls out on the runway, 7 o'clock in the morning, ready for departure. United Airlines. And very proud airline captain voice you hear this year. Orange County Tower, this is United Airlines, #1 airline, #1 crew, #1 on the runway, #1 for takeoff. Oh my gosh, total confidence. All of a sudden the controller comes on and says, Roger United, you're on ground control, contact the tower, 126.0. Oh, stop it. Stop it, you set the wrong frequency in. Gosh, I had a student one time. This guy, again, I'll talk about the guy here. He was a big guy, just a real tall, deep, well-modulated, resonant voice. He was a big guy too, 370, which is pretty big when you consider that 360 is a full circle. And this guy's just a big guy. He had 6 hours. Thanks for getting that one, by the way. I appreciate that. This guy was in the 6 hours. We're going to work on landings. We're in the traffic pattern doing touch and goes. We're flying downwind, opposite direction. We're going to land, and he's so proud, and he looks over and says, "Well, I think things are looking good here, and I think we got the power set up." And we turn base, perpendicular to the runway for landing. All of a sudden, his voice starts to get a little higher. All of a sudden, he goes, I don't think this is looking good. I don't think. We turn final, and all of a sudden his voice starts to go up another octave. I don't think we're gonna make it. I don't think we're gonna make it. I'm sitting over there cool. I'm just a cool instructor because I've been trained to sweat on the right side of my face only. That's why I always look cool over there. Sweating like crazy on this side of my face, and my job is to when he suffers a lack of confidence, to let him experiment, to be able to give him enough experience so that he can take that extra baby step and thus acquire more skill, thus learn how to control his environment. That's how you get confident. He's going, I don't think we're gonna make it. I'm saying, Bob, relax, we're gonna make it. Yeah, I know, look at the VASI light over there, the VASI, the visual approach slope indicator. The light is green because it's filtering through the grass. That's true, but it's okay. And we're a little low there, but put some power in. No, I don't think we're gonna make it. I don't think we're. Folks, 30 feet short of the runway, 30 feet short of the runway. He takes the controls, shoves them forward, and I go, whoa, and it pull back like that. We touched down on the dirt, didn't damage the airplane. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We roll onto the runway. As we roll onto the runway, he looks over and goes, whoa, what happened? And I go, hey, we didn't make it. Can't believe it. So, folks, the moral to that story is this. You have to read a lot of books. you have to ask a lot of questions. You have to be willing to go beyond your comfort zone. And you had testimony to that right here from Maria. And you have to realize that the natural saboteur to one's tenacity is confidence, but ultimately the solution to that is realizing that you've got to make mistakes. That's just all there is to it. When it comes to learning, there is no such thing as learning without mistakes.